social need for what I call weaponized empathy. It's the cult of empathy.
Merriam-Webster defines empathy as the action of understanding, being aware of, being sensitive to, and vicariously experiencing the feelings, thoughts, and experience of another. It's funny to hear Mark, an American evangelical pastor who has been accused of abusive behavior with his own flock, have such an interesting take on empathy. With a $2.5 million net worth, Mark has made great money and achieved great fame via his popular Christian books, founding megachurches, and writing for the Fox News website. I'd say Mark is an excellent representation of Jesus Christ. Just kidding. Oh, and the skinny guy's name is Russell Johnson, who was a former lobbyist who worked for the State House of Representatives and claims that God led him to be a young adult pastor, probably because the pay is better and the gig is easier. Just saying. I don't have an issue with Christianity per se. I don't have an issue with people having other beliefs or perhaps not ascribing to any religion, but I do have a problem with hypocrisy. Do as I say, not as I do. I'd argue that the concept of weaponized empathy is on a fundamental level anti-Christian. The person that lacks empathy shares beliefs that Satan himself would approve of. Think about it. According to the Bible, Satan is the ruler of the world, and he has dominion over all the kingdoms of the world. Satan tried tempting Jesus with all the power, influence, and wealth that he had, but Jesus did not fold. The devil is described as being a roaring lion that is constantly looking for someone to devour. He seeks to steal, kill, and destroy. He lacks empathy. This isn't a Bible study, so we'll move on. But I find it kind of funny that American politicians, both left and right, really embody the devil's core characteristics that were mentioned before. That's not a good thing. My concern is that demonizing empathy will accelerate the rotting of our world. I'd expect CEOs, billionaires, and politicians to not give a rip about people's well-being, but when faith leaders in positions of power claim that caring for, loving, and desiring the best for your neighbor is a sin, then what are we left with? The Bible itself says that people are made in God's image. It's not saying that humans are gods or anything mystical like that, but instead it's making the argument that every human being, regardless of any flaws, has intrinsic worth and dignity. I don't have proper analytics or data for this next bit, but the world to me feels a lot colder recently. I notice it in the way that people carry themselves. People don't talk to each other anymore. People don't have friends. People don't date, marry, or have kids. All I see is stress and anger in everyone's eyes, and it's tragic. It's an epidemic of detachment from everything that makes us human. The middle class is shrinking, and the financial future of millions is in a precarious state. It feels like Americans are divided on everything, and we're all at each other's throats. Meanwhile, those in power are allowed to rule with impunity. We've witnessed our leaders using dehumanizing rhetoric, and unfortunately, countless uneducated or misguided people have put all the blame of their own personal failures onto smaller demographics that really don't have an impact on them whatsoever. Why are people like this? Are human beings perfect? No, of course not. But if we surrender our empathy at the throne of hatred, then we'll no longer have a society. We'll sink faster and faster towards infinite destruction. People love to lie, and they love to manipulate others. They love to take advantage of unfortunate situations and will even toss their own families under the bus if it means getting ahead. There's a sucker born every minute. This shouldn't stop us from hanging on to our God-given empathy. Instead of empathy being a weapon, it can be a tool. Instead of it being a sin, it can be a way to heal. I get that we can't save everyone. We cannot solve the entire world's problems, but we can demonstrate love when it's appropriate. I'd argue for wisdom-based empathy. Wisdom-based empathy, in my mind, is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another while also being intelligent enough to preserve your own well-being. Having the ability to discern situations where people are trying to take advantage of others is key. It would consist of helping, understanding, and blessing others while also making sure that we're making decisions on all levels that keep us safe and keep us healthy. Yes, there are many people that love to take advantage of safety nets and the goodness of others, but that doesn't mean that we should give up hope on humanity. It doesn't mean that we should stop caring. Protect the vulnerable, but also make sure that you protect yourself. Your life is just as meaningful as anyone else's. To wrap it up, I think we should help where we can. We should give what we can. We should love as much as possible. But do all that without destroying yourself. Remember that you also are made in the image of God, and you also matter. Love people, love yourself, and remember that at the end of the day, regardless of what anyone says, we're all just human beings going through this epic journey of life for the first time. You have to be a light to yourself, not the light of a professor or an analyst or a psychologist or the light of political ideology. You have to be a light to yourself in a world that is utterly becoming dark. Good luck, everyone. Please like and subscribe. Catch you in the next one.